Kyle, how is Jonathan Cyprian doing behind the scenes, and what's his mindset been like since during camp when he said he didn't want to be on the practice squad? Is he somebody that you would consider elevating not only to the 53 man for the game, but also starting ahead of Marcel, or has Marcel done enough to keep that?
No, I think Marcel's done a real good job, but we feel very fortunate to have Sip. It's been great to keep him here. Really, is our fifth guy right now, and being able to have the luxury of having him on practice squad helps a ton. With Tart being down right now, we'll see how it goes throughout this week, but I know Sip's been ready for his opportunity every week, and he's got a better chance this week than any other week so far.
Kyle, what did the additional imaging on Trent Williams show you, and what's the plan for him this week?
I mean, it showed that nothing was broken and that it wasn't a high ankle, so that was good news. But still not too much pain to practice today, and I know he'll be questionable throughout the week. So hopefully it'll get better each day, but it's not there yet.
And Kyle, particularly in light of the way Jimmy hurt his knee in 2018, what were your thoughts on him lowering his throwing shoulder and having a violent collision at the end of his scramble in the fourth quarter Sunday?
Definitely didn't like it. I don't think he did either. I think that he was looking back, and the guy caught him at the last second, or he saw the guy at the last second, and he did his natural reaction to protect himself, and fortunately he got out of there all right. But something you definitely want to avoid, and something he knows he wants to avoid. The guy just snuck up on him a little bit.
Hey Kyle, I'm wondering what your reaction is to all the news yesterday. For a hot second, it looked like you were going to be able to have some fans in the building, and now it sounds like you're not going to have any fans this year. Do you have a reaction? Do you think that there's going to be some sort of competitive advantage or disadvantage to the teams that are beginning to allow fans?
Oh yeah, I don't think. I mean that's a fact. I mean I know that. I mean, not having the fans in your stadium is a huge deal. It's something that most of the leagues had to deal with this year. It seems like most teams aren't going to have to deal with it as much going forward. But no, our fans are a huge part of. They're a huge part of every team. But I feel it a little bit different here than everywhere else I've been. I mean, just the feeling they brought our team last year, and hopefully that we did the same. I think really changed this building, and I thought we earned a lot of that. And it's been tough not to have them this year. And just disappointing. I'm real disappointed for them, our families. I understand the issues and stuff. I just hope that we can eventually figure out something. I know my family's allowed to go to restaurants right now and sit inside and socially distance there while watching the game. So hopefully eventually we can figure out a way to do that in our outdoor stadium, where we can at least get some people like they are in the restaurants and stuff, or worst case, at least our families, because it's a long season and people do want to be a part of that bad, and I know how bad we want them to be a part of it. So hopefully they'll keep talking and figure out a way that they feel safe like the other places, and I know it'll help us if we do.
You had mentioned on Sunday that Jermichael Hasty came in with some fresh legs and gave you some pop there in the fourth quarter. How is Jarrett McKinnon in that regard? You guys lean heavily on him in weeks 3 and 4. Do you sort of have to kind of watch his snap count, given that he's just now coming back from 2 years off?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, that has an effect on all running backs, and especially a guy who had those 2 years off. I would think it would affect him more. So we didn't do a good job of managing that in the Philly game. Jets up for anything and stuff, but we got to do a better job of managing that and try to keep them all as fresh as possible. The more guys get banged up, the harder that is to do. So hopefully Jeff Wilson will come back healthy this week, and hopefully we'll get 3 fresh guys, but we'll see how the week of practice goes.
Kyle, you spoke a little bit about Jason Barrett on Sunday. A lot of guys have talked about what kind of mental strength he's had to come back. Can you give us a little bit more insight on what you've seen from him so far?
I mean, everyone sees the skill set, I think. Just the guy, I mean, just the way he carries himself, the way he carried himself last year. I'm coming in last year really feeling healthy, and after what he had been through the prior 2 seasons, and then having those injuries pop up in training camp, and I just know how frustrated he was, and watching the guy, just how he handles himself. He's not a guy who's going to go out and complain a lot. He's a complete professional. Doesn't say a lot, but works as hard as anyone. He's very locked in. he's got a chip on his shoulder too. The way you guys see him play out on the field is kind of the way that he conducts himself every day. And I know it's hard for him to be that into football and stuff and to be that important to him, and just to watch us all last year and not be able to help. And for him to be healthy this year, even with the setback that he had in training camp, and to still rebound from that, and for him to get his opportunity and be able to come in and be ready just to help us, which is so great because everyone is anticipating that, the way he carries himself. And then just for him to feed off of it and get better each game. I couldn't be happier with Jason, and I'm looking forward to watching him get better throughout the year as it goes.
One of the guys, on the offensive side, said he thought inside the huddle there was a different sense of confidence, and maybe that stemmed from the practice during the week. But as a coach, do you think one game can give a team confidence that it can use as a springboard, and how do you try to instill that confidence in your day-to-day interactions with the guys?
Yeah, I think, all the experiences you have always, lead to the future. And, I was hoping that the Miami game would spring us forward and really say a lot about our team. And, got completely embarrassed, as we all know. But I also think that did something to us, even though it was obviously a negative with losing that and hurting our record, especially the way we did it. But I think it affected us in a good way going forward. It's not like guys weren't working and trying, but there's always another level to get to, however that comes out. And we had a lot more success this week versus the Rams. And so I don't look at it as, oh, that's going to be better and we're going to play even better because of it. It's a new week. You're going against a new team. It's more X's and O's and execution and giving it your all. If you don't give it your all, it doesn't matter. And if you don't have a good plan, it really doesn't matter. So I think as our guys the more they realize that, it's trying as hard as you can every week and blocking out everything else and just getting better as the year goes. And I really felt that last week, and we'll see if it's the same this week. It starts here Wednesday practice, and it'll go throughout the whole week. And usually when you get better in practice, you play better on Sunday.
Hey, Kyle, when you look at the Patriots' defensive scheme, what strikes you as how it's changed since the last time you faced it, outside of the personnel, obviously?
It doesn't change a ton. They've always, going back forever, whenever you've watched a Belichick team, they're going to have the same fronts. Now they have a number of fronts they can go to and mix them up. They have a number of coverages they can go to. But he has his philosophies that he believes in for good reason, and you're going to see that each year. But he's also going to adjust at every moment that one of those things aren't going well. So there's nothing absolute at all with him. You know what he believes in, you know what he does, because that's what works. And when it's not working, he's always going to have a plan to adjust. So the game never stops. So you always got to keep going, and hopefully you have more points than them when time runs out.
Hi, Kyle. I had a two-part question about some of the younger offensive linemen. First, Justin School, how much has he progressed since last season when he played some at tackle? To Colton McKivitz, is he, would you say that he could be in a kind of a Brunskill role from last year to where he could be your next man up at guard, tackle, and maybe even center if you needed it now?
Yeah, School's gotten a lot better. He did a good job last year for us. Getting thrown in there early, having to start those number of games at tackle. You always get nervous when you're away from people, especially going into their second year in an off season. But you can tell, however, he spent his quarantine time, that he did it the right way, because he came to training camp bigger, stronger, and took a step forward throughout the practices. And if he does get the opportunity to play here a little bit more going forward, I expect to see that on the field too. And then McKivitz. Yeah, McKivitz definitely, played tackle in college. We know he could play guard or tackle for us. Right now, he's the next man up behind everyone, especially us losing Garland last week. So he's got to be ready to do a number of things, and we've worked him at everywhere. But whenever a guy goes down, we'll decide on what are our best five and where we can put those guys.
Fred Warner's obviously made improvements every year, but he's clearly taken a leap this year to basically being an undisputed all-pro player. What sort of did you see from him this offseason that made you sort of expect that he would have this year?
Didn't see him except on FaceTimes in the offseason, but I didn't have to. You could see how Fred handles every day. Every day he's been here, how he was when we invited him in for an interview on just a visit, the pre-draft. Fred just, I mean, he's a talented guy without a doubt, but just his mindset, how smart he is, how diligent he is, and how he works. Fred just needs time, and I mean, the more time he has, the better he's going to get. And when he strings together a few years and he's been able to stay healthy, and the way Fred works and the way he looks at things, he only will get better. So I expect that to continue.
Kyle, do you have any update on how Richard Sherman has been doing with the shots he's been getting?
Yeah, he got those. I think it was last week. And now he's in a boot, just taking care of it, making sure it heals, and letting those take course. I thought I'd have more answers this week, but I still think it's going to be a few weeks on that. It's obviously going a little longer than we expected. Got to play it smart with them, but I don't see it being week to week right now. I see it being probably till around our bye week.
Hey, Kyle, same question as far as a timeline for or outlook for D Ford.
I'm not sure on that. I mean, I would still throw it similar into that category after our bye week. I mean, he's gotten the work he's needed. He's got the shots he's needed. He's rested it, and now he's just starting to get back into some things, but still a ways away on that.
Hey, Kyle, the offense came out hitting on all cylinders, but you guys struggled the second half against the Rams, punted on 4 of the 5 possessions, and your longest drive was only 28 yards. I was wondering, is that somewhat promising to know that you guys can be that much better moving forward when you put it all together? And was that your message to the offense?
Yeah, my message to the offense was just how you got to finish people. I thought we had a chance to get up a number of scores and kind of run away with it. And I thought we had that chance. We had I remember calling a reverse. I mean, it's been a few days, but I remember calling a reverse on second down that lost a bunch of yards. So that kind of ended that drive. That the reverse didn't have a chance. And then I think we had 2 drops on third down, which lead to 2 3-and-outs, 2 ones that we would have caught. So, I mean, that we would have kept it going. So you lose 3 drives right there. Your numbers are going to change a lot. The cool thing was how our special teams and defense was playing. They kept giving us an opportunity. And I thought we needed to put them away. And the way we ended up doing it was Jimmy scrambling and Robbie kicking that field goal. But if we don't want to have to always depend on the defense playing that way at the end, not giving the Rams a chance to come back. We got to catch those balls on third down and move the chains. We got to make those plays on first and second down so we don't get into those third down opportunities, because I thought we had some opportunities to score some touchdowns, and when we didn't, that's why they got it within 1 score before the last drive.
All right. Thanks, folks.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Go ahead for Fred.
Fred, do you think one game has the power to change around a season or reinvigorate a team's confidence and maybe springboard it into the next week?
Yeah, that's a huge win that we had this past Sunday, especially being on Sunday night in the division. I don't want to take anything away from that, but, as soon as Monday was over, we were right on to New England. It's a brand new week, brand new challenge for us. I think we approach each week with the same mindset that we got to get better from the previous, so it doesn't matter what happened. Yeah, we can use that momentum, but at the end of the day, we still got to put the work in this week.
Hey, Fred, with the news yesterday, whether fans were going to be allowed in the stadium or not, and the county health officials said not anytime soon, how does your experience just before the season being on the COVID list influence what you think about that news?
I'm not very educated on what's going on, but obviously everybody wants fans. I'm going to let the county and the state handle all of that. We miss the fans very, very much. I know I do. I always feed off of them, but I know they'll do the right thing and making sure they come back when it's safe and to do so.
Hey Fred, watching some of the highlights from the game the other day, it seemed on some of your stops near the sideline, on Dre's stop, at the sideline at the goal line, it seemed that the interior defensive line is getting a really nice push against the run. I was hoping you could talk a little bit about DJ and Javon, those guys inside, and whether you might have seen some progress in that front from your defense this season against the run.
Oh yeah, huge progress. I think DJ, he was already one of our best players on our defense going into this season. He's continued to get better each game. JK having the progress that he's made for us and being such a physical presence in there in the middle. It's been huge for our defense, and like you said, that keeps me and Dre and other off the ball linebackers to just flow and make tackles unblocked. So they make my job easy for sure, and the work they put in and day out, that's the credit to why they're doing so well.
Hey, Brad, you may have talked a little bit about Jermichael Hasty during training camp, but he does have to, obviously he's unproven, but he does seem to have a little bit of a burst, and you do notice him. How has he progressed, since training camp? What are your overall impressions of him?
Yeah, just kind of watching from afar. He's kept his head down ever since training camp and is just grinded. I did mention him back in training camp just because we all see him make the cuts and just the explosiveness that he has when he does touch the rock. It's something that jumps off the field, jumps off the tape, and he's continued to get better and better as he's gotten those reps, and obviously he's going to be able to get more opportunities now going forward, and I'm excited for him. He's going to continue to work. I feel like he's one of the first guys in the building, one of the last ones out. He has the right mindset, and that's going to be big for him going forward.
Brad, have you had a chance to watch much of Cam Newton this year? And is there anything that you see different from him now that he's with the Patriots?
Yeah, just before actually studying the tape, I watched a couple of games when he was playing, and just seeing the comeback that he's made coming off those injuries from previous years, and that was the guy I was looking forward to playing last year, actually, when we had Carolina on the schedule, and unfortunately he wasn't able to play in that game. But the fact that he's able to come back and be as effective as he is with the Patriots, and they use him in his skill set really well, and be able to put him in positions to be successful, and just how big of a body he is, and delivering the football where it needs to be, and not being afraid to air it out. And so I know he's going to present a very big challenge for us. We got to make sure that we're on top of our details.
Do the last one for Fred.
Hi, Fred. Representing the NFC in the Super Bowl last year, do you find that the competition, that you have a target on your back this year, where when you face other teams, they're coming at you at a different level?
Yeah, I think it's safe to say, you're going to get everybody's best shot when you're, last year we competed in the Super Bowl, and the year before that we were 4-12. So there's going to be a little bit of a change on how teams approach us. Like I said, we're going to get everybody's best shot, and we're ready for the challenge. We don't shy away from any type of competition. That's what we feed off of. That we have the right type of guys in the building for exactly that. So we're excited about the challenge this week.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, Fred.
All right, Fred.
All right, we're unmuted.
All right, here we
Go
go.
ahead for Mike.
Bueller.
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
How you doing?
Good. That final play, I think you took out Aaron Donald there with Grossu, and then the 4 headbutts came. What was going through your mind? When was the last time you were that excited on a football field?
Probably the NFC Championship game. But yeah, it was just an exciting moment. We had gone through a lot of stuff the last couple weeks, and definitely fell on some hard times and didn't play up to our standard. And Sunday night we got back on track, and that's all that was. It was just a lot of excitement, a lot of pride in what we did that night. And everybody felt the way that we competed and the way that we played, and to seal it the way that we did with that final play, it just was the icing on the cake. I don't know why I started headbutting Horonis. I think as soon as we got the first down, I just kind of blacked out and started celebrating and didn't come to until he, looked at me like, "What the hell are you doing?" And sorry to Horonis, and thank God I didn't, hurt him any further, because we need him this week, and he's going to step up for us huge.
Well, Mike, you may not be in the mood to give any credit to your critics, and this isn't to suggest you didn't have the proper motivation or juice before. However, do you think any of the heat you've been under may have, added just a little something on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie to you and say that it didn't. It certainly did, and it just gives you that little extra edge, and I appreciate the edge if that's what you guys want to keep giving me. It's awesome. It was a cool night. And I played up to the standard that I know that I can play, I got back on track. I eliminated the bad plays, and that's all that it was. It's exciting to stay on your track. You stay on your standard of play. You stay on your routine, and things build. And we've been building and building. You've been seeing good things on film, even in the tough losses, which was what I was trying to articulate last week. But to put it all together the way that we did Sunday night was a great feeling, and a huge one that we can certainly build off of. And the energy that I feel as though is the energy that everybody felt. They might not have had as spastic of a reaction as I did to it, but it worked out in our favor.
And Mike, Kyle said, I think last year, that he watches Patriots tape every week. How often do you guys go through that, or how often does he show you some Patriots tape in the film room?
Not that I can remember a lot. We kind of stick to who we have week in and week out. I'm sure that he watches them as a head coach and a play caller and a play designer to see what's going on and how teams can exploit the way that other teams play. And the Patriots have been the best in the business at doing that for the last 20 years. And so I don't think that it's necessarily shocking that people watch the Patriots and what they've been able to accomplish. And I'm sure Kyle has done the same thing. But when it comes to, just locking in on week-to-week game plans, we're not watching much of the Patriots until we're playing the Patriots.
Mike, George said he used Joe Staley as a resource during the last week to be a better captain. Is that someone you also draw upon for future leadership, I guess, kind of as a resource?
Of course. I use Joe for just about everything. I still do. I still talk to him 2 or 3 times a week. I still have a routine of calling him the night before the game and doing what we would normally do in the hotel. So I still talk to him very regularly. Anything that I'm thinking about, I can always bounce off of him. He's been a great resource to me since I showed up here, and he still is since he's left. He's one of my best friends in the world, and he certainly knows a lot about what's going on and
offensive linemen like myself go through week in and week out. And so, of course, I'm going to try. You know, one of my best friends just happens to be one of the best that's come around in a long time at our position. So it just works out that way. And of course, the phone's always open. The text line's always open with Joe. And anything that I ever need, he's only a phone call away.
Michael, one of your teammates in the offensive huddle said recently that he thought Sunday's game you guys had more confidence in the huddle than you had at any point this season, and it sort of reminded him of how things felt last year. Did you notice that, and how does something like that materialize for you guys?
I think it's just I certainly noticed it. You kind of everybody I think kind of felt it from the first play, the energy that we came out with, the confidence that we came out with, the game plan that we came out with, and I think the only way that you can materialize that is through hard work and tough shit. Like the last 2 weeks has been really, really hard. We got our ass kicked by Miami. We didn't close against Philly, and we should have done that. And for us to go through that kind of hard stuff, had this leading until that moment on Sunday, and it was building, and you have to experience adversity. You have to experience tough times in order for those kind of moments to rise and for those kind of confident, for everybody to grow together. And I think that's what we went through those 2 weeks after the New York trip. And hopefully we can continue building on this momentum that we gained on Sunday night and continue to play the ball that we know we can play.
Hey, Mike, two things on the center position. One, when you've had kind of the moving pieces that you've had there, whether it's Aronis or Ben or not having Weston, how difficult is it communication-wise, just knowing the importance of the center and calling things out? And also, just what are your impressions of Aronis Ben other than his ability to take some headbutts?
Well, communicationally, obviously everything goes through the center. Everything that we always do, protection-wise, run game-wise, everything works off the center and his command. And we haven't had any lulls in that. We're very fortunate to have the three guys that we've had over my 3 years here playing center in Weston, Ben, and now Horonis. Three awesome pros, three guys that are incredibly prepared at all times, three guys with a lot of ability and that can get the job done for us. And Horonis has been great since he showed up here. Happy that he came in and during training camp where he could get a feel for our system early and then work through it. As he's gotten a game under his belt when he played against Arizona and did a great job there, and he's going to continue to grow and do well for us in the next few. And Horonis has been great since he showed up. He's worked his butt off the entire time. He has a command of our offense, and he can make the blocks that he needs to, and he's going to be great for us. Can't wait to watch him practice here in a couple minutes. It's going to be fun getting the ground rolling with him, and keep the thing moving like we have the last week or so.
Last one for Mike.
Mike, another center question. Dakota Shepard, he came in midway through training camp, didn't have very much NFL experience at all, but made the practice squad. Are you impressed by that, and what can you sort of tell us about him and what makes him stand out?
Yeah, Dakota's been great for us as well. He's been commends to him. Like you said, he hasn't been in the NFL before. He came in from the CFL and he's obviously from Canada and has done a great job for us. He came in, competed his butt off, has a lot of great ability. Has shown that on multiple occasions throughout, and that's why he's on this team. And if the time ever came that would happen, we have all the faith in the world in him as well. He's a great guy in our room. We love having him, and he's been nothing but great since he's been here.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
That's about for him, man. Hey guys, fire away.
Obviously Mike was just in there and he said that he was glad he didn't hurt you with the headbutts. Can you go through that moment with us?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was just a big play by the entire offense. We call it run play on 3rd and long, and that's every O-lineman's dream is to seal a game in 2 minutes on a run play, and that's what happened. And I know Mike always expresses his feelings, and he's a guy that we always feed off his energy. And I think I was the first one he saw. I said something to him first to get him a little jacked up, but I really didn't expect him to take it to that level. But that's why we love Mike, because he's always bringing that energy every single day.
Ernest, you came in like about a week late or so into camp, and obviously started in week 1. How have you been able to maybe catch up as quickly as you have and add the comfort level you need to be able to start now?
The coaches, JB, Coach Furster, and Zach Gans, they're all the coaches in the O-line room. From day one since I got here, really did a great job of getting me, caught up to speed with the whole offense, all the terminology, because, Kyle's offense, there's a lot of words in there, and there's a lot of communication up front, and they've done a great job of getting me up to speed. The guys I play next to make it super easy, and, with Jimmy as well, he really makes the communication a lot easier for me.
Is this offense similar to any that you've been in the past in terms of, how much movement is required in the center? We see Ben making blocks 10, 15, 20 yards downfield, and does that sort of suit your skills as well, just getting out in space and getting downfield?
Yeah, started from college, that's what we did a lot in college, and I'm very comfortable doing that. And then running a similar system my last year in Chicago, and then last year a little bit when I was in Tennessee, it was a similar system terminology-wise. But out in the open field is something that I really feel strong about in my game, and something I've been doing since I was in college, so I really feel comfortable doing that.
Hey, Ernest, how did you spend the off season? I assume you would have been signed, earlier in a normal off season, but how did you spend it? And given the fact that you had to wait, was there a level of frustration involved?
Yeah, I mean, I had to wait, but I had a few teams call to want to sign me and give me an opportunity to go there and compete. I was just waiting it was weird. I had a gut feeling to just wait it out and stay patient. I've wanted to come here for a long time, just off of Kyle's offense, because when I was in Chicago, we were trying to do similar things to what Kyle did, and I really enjoyed playing that offense, and I liked it a lot, and I really wanted to come here and have it get a chance to compete and make the team. And I was just waiting and started praying, and things came up, and was able to get signed here and get rolling. So yeah, I just kept training every single day and working my butt off to just stay ready and shape.
Hey, Kyle mentioned that Chris Forster might have had something to do with that you guys overlapped in Miami. Was that part of the process of getting noticed by the 49ers? And two, extension question off of that, the offensive line coach, you have 2 head offensive line coaches. How important do you think that is behind this line, really finding its groove despite some struggles last week?
I think Kyle was confused. I was in Miami for a cup of coffee for about 2 to 3 weeks, but it was Jeremiah Washburn, and Jeremiah Washburn was his assistant in Miami. And then the next year, he came to Chicago, and I had Jeremiah Washburn for 1 full year, and we did all of Coach Furster's terminology, all his technique and everything. So that's why he probably got mixed up a little bit. But having those 2 coaches in there have been the biggest blessing for me in my career, getting me ready for this opportunity. And they've both done a great job of getting me ready.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.